Am I fooling myself? Where am I fooling myself? How am I fooling myself? Because I don't want to succumb to the dynamic of confirmation bias that, oh man, look at my growth in my head, and therefore let me build the case for just how emotionally intelligent I am now, right? And because that's a slippery slope. The area that you think you know the most about, you're the least teachable in. The area you think you know the most about, you're the least teachable in. Leaders, influencers, entrepreneurs. So had an interesting revelation, epiphany that I just wanted to share with you all. You know, it's convicting me in my observation of a handful of folks. It just made me kind of reflect on, okay, well, where am I at with some of this stuff? So one couple in particular, they have awesome boundaries where, you know, they do a fairly decent job at not violating other people's boundaries. They do a great job, like they're excellent at not letting anybody violate their boundaries. And I thought, my thought was, okay, so they must be very emotionally intelligent based on the fact that they've got such good boundaries. Then I continue to kind of think through and observe and reflect. Their self-awareness has not been very good, just based on my observation. And their others' awareness has also not been very good either, again, just based on my observation. And so then I thought, well, man, again, I thought that they had great emotional intelligence because they have such good boundaries. But then I'm like, well, how could they be emotionally intelligent in one area, but not emotionally intelligent in another area? And then, you know, my awesome wife brought up a great point that in the book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, the way they break down emotional intelligence is two different levels of emotional intelligence. There's personal competence and social competence. Personal competence, social competence. On the personal competence layer, there's self-awareness and self-management, self-awareness and self-management. In the social competence layer, there's social awareness and relationship management. Social awareness and relationship management. So I thought, man, okay, that was a great point because it's been a while since I'd read that book. And you can actually take the test and find out, and it'll score you. Okay, you're high in this area, low in this area, low in this area, high in this area, whatever. And it just reminded me that there are many different aspects to emotional intelligence. So, and this is for me really more than anybody, be careful, because I've been thinking, well, man, you know, this 3-year journey, my emotional intelligence is growing. I'm having all these epiphanies and connections and breakthroughs and feeling lots of, it's impacting a lot of my different results in my life as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as an influencer, all these different areas of my life, as a husband, as a father, as a parent, as a friend. It's having all these tangible, concrete impacts. So I'm thinking, oh man, that must mean that I'm getting more emotionally intelligent. Period, like across the board. Well, having this thought, this reflection made me think, okay, snap, pump your brakes a little bit, Noble. While I know I have been growing in certain areas of my emotional intelligence, clearly emotional intelligence is multifaceted. So for me, I need to be careful about just making this broad brushstroke of, man, I am growing completely in every area there is to grow in emotional intelligence, when in reality, maybe I'm not. Maybe I am in some areas, but maybe in other areas I am not. I have not been growing in those respective areas. So I need to go back through and just assess, those different areas of personal competence and social competence, and just see where am I at, in my self-awareness and self-management, my social awareness and relationship management. How am I doing in each one of those boxes so that I'm not negligent in growing a particular area of emotional intelligence? I want to be emotionally well-rounded. I want to be emotionally healthy and fit, period. Not just in one area, not just, oh man, I can bench press a zillion pounds, but I've got chicken legs. You know what I mean? Or I'm great in one area of my emotional fitness, but not in another area. So or another good example, I don't want to be, oh man, look, I'm just so self-aware, but I have no others skills. I have no social awareness or no relationship management, but man, I can tell you exactly what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, where I'm feeling, right? All the personal competence, but I have no social competence. So I want, or vice versa, which honestly, I think has been my dynamic and my challenges. I feel like I've been fairly strong, fairly decent in the social awareness, relationship management piece. And I say fairly, so I'm not saying I've been a rock star by any stretch, but fairly socially aware and decent at relational management, but definitely not tracking and severely lacking in the personal competence with the self-awareness and self-management piece. So anyway, that was a big, I guess, convictor for me. I don't know, it just hit me today when thinking about some of these other folks. And some other folks, I'm like, man, they seem to be having some progress in some areas, but then in other areas, I feel like they just still don't get it with this whole emotional growth journey. And so anyway, a combination of all those thoughts made me start thinking about me, like, well, man, what am I fooling myself? Where am I fooling myself? How am I fooling myself? Because I don't want to succumb to the dynamic of confirmation bias that, oh man, look at my growth in my head, and therefore let me build the case for just how emotionally intelligent I am now, right? And because that's a slippery slope. The area that you think you know the most about, you're the least teachable in. The area you think you know the most about, you're the least teachable in. And I don't want to get caught in that dynamic, knowing that, man, I have got a lot of emotional growth to do, so much more, probably years more. I don't know. And in all honesty, I don't know if one ever arrives at the pinnacle of emotional maturity. I don't know. I don't know enough. I'm far away from that. So that's still quite a ways off in the horizon. So anyway, just want to share that with you all. So excited to be on this journey with you all. Please share, comment, review, thoughts, what points hit you, resonated with you. And we are so excited again about being alongside you all in your own emotional growth journey for your emotional health, fitness, and freedom, so that we can change the world by changing your world, by changing you.